Hello, welcome back to Monster of the Week Pine Lake. We will now continue after the time skip that we recorded last session, which had some audio issues on my end. Yeah, we'll pick things up and clarify if there's anything that needs that. So we've moved forward about 4 years. We're around 1990. We're not going to be picky about the exact year, but we're in that interesting transitional period between the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah, so think I will pick up with Joss. You've had this customer, Gary, who's been showing up at the video store. He's been renting the same movie every time. And at first, he was showing up, like, he showed up once, and then, like, 6 months later, he came back again. And then it's been growing more and more frequent. And now he's showing up, like, every week. Friday night he shows, or Friday afternoon, Friday night he shows up. He rents Enter the Dragon and says, "I've been meaning to watch this," and then he pays for it and he leaves. And so that's been going on. You've also been observing from, like, the rooftop what's going on inside the wall that the Air Force has put up around the remains of the high school. What you've seen is that they kept like the majority of the actual school building, the structure that you were in and under during the most of the last mystery, but in the last few weeks, they've started to, like, encase it in concrete. There's like a huge concrete cube they've raised around it, and they're and they've cleared off everything that's, like, between the building and the forest. So, like, behind the school from your point of view, they've just cleared it out, and it's just a big flat area there. So is there any of that you want to look into further? Do you bring someone else along with you, or?
When Gary comes in, clearly I'm a bit worried that he keeps it's his phrase that he's always meaning to watch it. I'm going to use magic, and it's under the specialty gut feeling, isn't it? So I'd like to make a gut feeling roll, which clearly I have no longer got the link to, wherever that is.
Yeah, I have it.
It's definitely called gut feeling.
Where? But we have a somewhere we have a folder, right, with all the stuff in it.
Yeah, isn't it Trust Your Gut, the alternative weird move? And it is, when you consult your instincts about what to do next, roll plus weird. On a 10 or more, the keeper will tell you where you should go. Whatever that is, it will be important. On a 7 to 9, the keeper will tell you a general direction to go. On a miss, your instincts lead you into danger.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's have some of that. Rolling a +1. I rolled a 3 and a 5. +1 gives me 9. Do you think I should follow it?
So let me see. Trust your gut. Keeper will tell you a general direction to go. Take +1 forward to explore that. So what is it? Is this about Gary?
This is about Gary, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you should probably follow him. See where he lives, what he does, what's going on with him.
Superb. I will get on our handheld radios and I will radio my compadres,
Mhm.
clearly using a handle because a radio is an open source, so the military could be listening. So we've got a pre-programmed book that I've handed out with days of the week with different code words for different people, so they'll never be able to track us down. And yes, well, it's got to be the classic phrase, hasn't it? Broadsword calling Danny boy. Broadsword calling Danny boy. The fish has left the tank. I repeat, the fish has left the tank. And I will pass on that +1 forwards to whoever. I think it should be a pair of people, hopefully, that are waiting to track down Gary. So I'll put it out there to any two people. I can't look that far forwards, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be very good if it's only 7. They might go and work it out. But I can hardly remember yesterday, let alone today.
Sure. Joss is, sat in the car. Not Joss, Lyle. Sorry, Lyle is sat in the car, and he has this little CD radio type thing, fits mounted underneath the glove compartment, and he's going to scramble over it and go, Joss, what's that, Joss?
They're listening, man. They're listening. He's left. He's
Who's
left
left?
the target. But he's generally he's going in. He's going where we thought he's going. So you should easily be able to follow him. Who's with you?
Who? I don't know. I was gonna. I don't know. Well, who am I on my way to pick up? And why? I guess. Does Dot need a lift from the prison? Maybe.
Who is out? Who's a good tracker? Dot is a good tracker. That's right up her street.
Oh God, you want me to do the tracking?
Yeah.
I think tracking falls under sharp, and you is pretty sharp.
I think at this point, I'm at a desk in an office where I've been working on an injunction to stop the government from cutting down the forests. And I hear this walkie-talkie static from inside my desk. And I slide open the drawer and I hear it a little bit more clearly. And I just pick it up. It's like, Joss, what the hell are you playing at? Some of us are actually working.
I'm working to expose the government. Anyway.
So am I.
Yeah, mine's big state. Big state. Anyway, he's left. Bruce Lee fan has left.
So?
We need to follow him. My gut's giving me a weird feeling about it. And it's not the Indian food I ate last night.
That's all your gut's telling you.
I think this is when he walks past Lyle in the car. Gary just walks past outside, and you see him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got eyes on the dragon. I'm gonna follow.
Do not enter the dragon, no matter what.
And I'm gonna get out of my car and surreptitiously follow him down the road.
Yeah, he's not really checking to see if anyone's following him, and he's walking straight for the trailer park.
You know what? I just follow him until we get back to the trailer park. I didn't realize he lived in the same trailer park that Lyle does.
Yeah. You think you've seen him maybe once or twice, but you didn't realize he was living there.
Yeah, I probably didn't register who he was until Josh started talking about this strange guy who keeps renting Enter the Dragon. So I follow him back to the trailer park and I see where he ends up.
So he walks and walks off the inside the. I assume there's some kind of fence or something around it, and he walks off like in a different direction than you would go to where you live. You follow him, and you see him walk towards a trailer that you know who lives there, and it's not him. He walks up to the door, he opens the door, and there's this flash of light, and he's just gone.
Cigarette just sort of like half dangling out of Lyle's mouth. And he goes, huh, Joss might have been right. And like looks really
Do you
worried.
say that on the radio?
No, I don't say any of it because this is Monster of the Week and I want to go into whatever situation maybe here. I go over to the trailer on my own first, of course, you know.
Cool. I think this sounds like we're getting to investigate mystery, perhaps.
Yeah. Go to the trailer, knock on the door. I know that Gary doesn't live there, so what the hell, you know? Like, let me, come on, roll with me. Open the link.
You do have +1.
I do have +1 forward. It's handy because I think I have only a 0. I think I have a flat sharp.
Oh, you have a +1 in sharp.
Okay.
That's according to your character sheet.
That is an 8.
Nice. So on 8, you get to hold 1 for a number of questions. So what do you do when you get to the trailer? You saw he opened the door. There was this flash of light, and he was gone. And now the door is closed.
I knock on the door.
Yeah.
And if no one answers, I lean back and like turn the handle and push it back and take a step back, like carefully opening the door.
Someone does answer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's someone you recognize. Her name is Judy. She's like in her mid-30s. She's got a cigarette hanging from her corner of her mouth, and she's got a baby on her hip, and there's like 2 more kids running around inside, and she's clearly trying to cook dinner or something.
Oh, hey, Judy. Have you seen Gary?
Who? Gary,
This guy who like guy really big into like martial arts movies, about yay high. I just saw him coming towards your trailer. I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
I don't know Gary or anyone named Gary. But if you would come over with a movie, I'd be happy to have him.
Oh well, I'll let Gary know, okay? And I pass it and I go like, hey, do you want a cigarette? I just pass her. I pass her a whole carton because I imagine that like that Lyle's basically just got loads of bootleg cigarettes.
Yeah.
Thing, you know?
Oh yeah. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. And I look worryingly down at the kid who reaches out a hand for one of them. And then I go like, oh, I'll let you get back to the mac and cheese, okay? And then I sort of like wave her off, and then I appear at the trailer, appear underneath the trailer, and I ask the question from the investigator mystery move, what happened here?
Yeah. So clearly, Gary did not go into the trailer. He must have been transported in some way.
Why did he come here?
When you get closer and think about this, you do feel a slight chill in the air that reminds you of when you were on the other side of the doorway before. So maybe there's a connection there, but but something transported him. The only thing you've seen that's done something like that is the doorway before, but there was no flash of light there. It was just open and you could see through. So it's not exactly the same, but there's some kind of connection there, you suspect.
Yes, yeah. There's no like sign on the floor or the door or anything like, nothing that indicates.
No, it looks, for all you can tell, that he was never there.
Okay.
And actually, I think, yeah. I think you notice, you realize when you're walking down from her trailer again, that this is kind of it's like a kind of a muddy trail up to her, to the stairs. There's no footprints from him there. It's like he was never there.
Okay. Yeah, I look down as I'm walking away and I realize I'm only walking in my own footprints. I go, and that's when you'll hear over the radio, guys, I think Joss may actually be right about something. And then I'm happy to cut to, team meeting.
Yeah, let's do that. Would you meet in the boathouse, you think?
I'm up for meeting in the video store. Because I think we can meet in the video store and we can have Josh show us receipt after receipt of Enter the Dragon, and have Enter the Dragon playing on the TV in the background while we're discussing things,
Totally. So yes, team assemble at the video store, and I think sort of the opening of the scene is me turning it from open to closed. Clearly, still within working hours.
As an old man comes back to return his tape, stare at him through the window,
drop it in the slot, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Paul, why don't you give us a sense of what the video story is like on the inside?
I think one word can sum up very well: grimy. It is a classic independent video store. As my colleagues pointed out last week, it has got a curtain at the back, one of those sort of beaded, sort of heavy curtains with a sort of it'll be above a cardboard sign, but only just saying sort of adults only beyond this point. Quite a sort of disheveled desk, and the classic sort of bank of video cassettes, because clearly you only put the cases out on display. If not, kids will steal them, sort of thing. And a massive stack of sort of National Enquirer, other sort of conspiracy sort of reads that Joss would clearly spend most of his time thumbing through, drawing sort of connection points. I don't think Post-it notes have been invented at this stage, have they? Early 90s? Anyway, bits of paper folded over the top, coming out the top of each episode.
If you want Post-its, we got Post-its.
We got Post-its. Yeah, so there'll be things linking various editions to various other editions, showing the grand conspiracy at work. And as Lyle said, here's the printout from the rental system, and it's coming out on a dot matrix, as was common at the time. And it's, that week, Enter the Dragon, that week, Enter the Dragon, that week, Enter the Dragon. There's something very shifty about this guy. He never watches. I wouldn't mind if he watched it every week. It's a great movie, but he always says he's never watched it. That's wrong.
And he literally vanished in a flash of light, in Jude's trailer door, which she didn't even seem to notice.
How do you know this woman?
I mean, she lives 3 trailers down, man.
Oh man, there we go from Pat. Should spend less time talking to your neighbors, man. You don't know who's watching.
I know who's watching. You're watching.
I'm trying to watch everybody, but I haven't got enough hours in the day, man. That's why I need my friends.
Well, anyway, it seems like, Joss is right. There's something weird about Gary. I mean, does this do the Batones know anything about a strange dude who likes kung fu movies and disappears into thin air and has short-term memory loss?
And Pat is there wearing his security uniform from the community college, and he's borrowed one of the the patrol cars that they patrol the campus with, to come by here, he just kind of shrugs and he says, "I don't know. I mean, I can ask my dad, but it's not something off the top of my head I wouldn't know anything about."
I think we're missing something obvious. Joss, the next time that tape comes back, could you, I'll make some air quotes with my fingers, lose it? It's quite possible that the tape is actually a key of some sort, which would explain why he keeps renting it on a weekly basis and has never watched it.
Good point. Good point indeed. Most definitely will.
Tell you what.
Right. That could be a key. Is it worth going to his? So he's disappeared. Should we go to his trailer?
I mean, it's not his trailer, man.
No, but he's got a trailer, hasn't he?
I mean, I don't know. I thought he did, but I just saw him around the park. But like, he went into a trailer that now I don't know where he lives, because I thought maybe he was chatting with Jude or something.
It should have his address on his membership file.
Spin the chair around and pull off the file back.
Flipping through the Rolodex. Yeah.
Has he got an address? Well, he should have an address on file.
I mean, how stringent is Joss about keeping records and making sure, like tracking people for their personal information?
I mean, Joss doesn't own the video store. He just sort of lives and works there.
Could this be an investigation role to see what kind of information is available?
Sure.
Sounds really good.
Although I would like to ask, given how paranoid Joss is about his own information, would Joss actually look at driver's licenses or just try to keep everything as low key on records as possible and extend that courtesy to other people?
I would take him at his word, that's for sure. If he says, I'll just ask somebody their address. I don't think I'll ask for any kind of proof. But I will make a roll, because we love rolling.
Yeah.
It's a role-playing game. A 4 and a 2, but hopefully I have a...
I believe you have a +2, so...
Oh, there we go. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? 8. Well, it does get a lot better than that, in all fairness. But 8's pretty good. I like an 8. I've lost the back button in my browser, and now I'm stuck on Post-it notes rather than the video screen. Anyway, let's continue playing, because I will eventually find it. It's got to be somewhere. Where is the back button? Anyway, I'll find that. So, what does 8 give me on investigate and mystery? Here we go.
We get to hold
7 and 9.
one.
Hold 1.
Or did you have something? No, it wasn't for investigate and mystery. I vaguely recall you having something. No, maybe that was trust your gut that I got it confused.
Yeah, it's. I want to know where he lives. So
yeah. He has given an address, and when you but
What's
and
being
you like
concealed here? I mean, is he concealing his address?
he has given you an address, and when you check it, because it's not like one you recognize as being in the town. So when you take your trusty atlas or phone book or whatever, where you would check check to find it, it's on part of the land. It's on the land that's now it's an old street or road that's now part of the Air Force Base.
Man, I knew it. The Air Force has got to him. Must be the water he's drinking. They put micro robots to control him in the water. The crawfish didn't work, so it's now micro robots. Anyway, so we know the address he's put. We know he's disappeared. That's got to be worth an investigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Like, I literally saw the guy just vanish into thin air. I mean, we could all watch Enter the Dragon every week, but, you know, it's not remembering Enter the Dragon. I mean, who doesn't remember the first time they watched Enter the Dragon?
Exactly.
I'm with you. So,
but Doc's got a point. We need to get hold of that cassette to double check it.
Yeah, I mean, does he bring it back?
I presume he does if you can rent it every week.
Yeah, I think, like, I assume Joss isn't the only one who works at the video store, right?
No, I think
No.
Lyle.
I mean, do you think do you think it's always left in the returns box? Do you think he never actually physically returns it, Andish? And it's always just in the box?
You don't remember putting it back. That you're sure about that. So, but I think you've just assumed that someone, because there would be like more than one person working here. So you've just assumed that, oh, someone else has put it back. You know that you haven't done it. But how it has returned, you're not sure. And I don't think you don't remember seeing it in the returns box, and you don't remember sorting it back in on the shelf.
Well,
So I'm going to flag it on the system saying it's pre-booked out, so it shouldn't go out next time it comes in. So we should be able to capture it when it's returned.
Yeah, rent it to me. Like, rent it to me, and then we'll go and we're having a Enter the Dragon movie night, right? And Gary can come.
Yeah. We can see if it is truly better than his 4 Hong Kong movies that he did previously. The Big Boss being one of them.
Now, wait a minute, Joss. You're telling me that you have Hong Kong action movies that you're here?
Of course, the first 4 Bruce Lee movies are great.
No. I mean, like Hong Kong style, like Hard Boiled, Better Tomorrow.
Oh yeah. That's just before you get to the area at the back. For the connoisseur, it's back there.
Gone.
Yeah. Some good stuff. Some good Hong Kong stuff. Even some sort of like new stuff coming out of Korea. You know, that's some weird stuff. You know, quite horrific. But anyway, we digress, Dot. We digress.
You're gonna watch The Killer with me tonight?
Of course. Yeah, come over later. You know, I've got a big screen out back, 28-inch CRT, JVC. It's good. Yeah, but we need to. I think we should go to this address.
It's on the base, man.
Oh, we should be able to get into a base. So much perimeter fence.
I'll yell from the back. You know, if you hold on a second, I've got a friend down at City Hall who can probably pull records for that address.
Okay. before we finish up here, Lyle's just going to go onto the shelves and see if there's an empty space where Enter the Dragon should be.
Yeah, it's the cassette is not there.
Okay. Right. Cool. Okay. I mean, who knows, right? All right.
Or wait. Actually, now I need to think. No, the tape is there. Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's a good last shot of this scene, I think, isn't it? As
Yeah.
I pull out the tape and go like, and we play
Enter
the
the Dragon.
music, the Stranger Things styles musical sting as we all stare at the tape that walked out the door like an hour ago.
Mhm.
So
JVC time.
I guess should we go check out the? Should some of us go check out the airbase? And I'm thinking I might watch. Lyle might become the answer lies in Enter the Dragon, and he's going to watch Enter the Dragon on the small tape deck TV in the back of the video store. Like those little box trolley.
Watch it through a mirror. Less chance of them controlling your mind. Watch it through the mirror.
Yeah, Lyle will actually do that. He will actually pull this little trolley thing up to the bathroom and turn it around. Sit on the toilet looking at the TV through the mirror.
Yeah, I'm up for the base. I've got no idea what skill is to sneak in this. It's act under pressure, isn't it? Probably, really.
Probably, or it could be investigate a mystery, depending on what you're trying to do, I think.
Why do we need to sneak onto the base, Joss? It's the part of the base where people live. I mean, you can get in and out of there pretty easily. It's like just another neighborhood. It's just on the base.
Yeah, it's still inside like the perimeter fence. So you have to pass like a checkpoint.
Yeah, but that's like it's not like we're going to see top secret stuff. We're just going in to visit someone on the base.
Yeah, there are.
So you're going to the PX?
The what?
It's a commissary on a US base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's military only, is it?
You have to be military or active duty or family. Retired,
okay.
or
yeah. Well, yeah. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, I'll dig up some dodgy ID. I think
you'll definitely need to identify yourself and tell them who you're coming to visit, that sort of thing. It won't be like a strict check or anything, but they will want to know who you are and why you're there, who you're going to visit. But if you want to take your way past that, you can definitely. That would be act under pressure.
Yeah, I'm happy to act under pressure.
Why do we need to? Why do you need to lie about it, Joss? Why can't we just go and I mean, we're there to talk to somebody. It's not. I mean, why don't we just go and do it?
Because they'll write our details down. Probably they'll know we've been there.
They're gonna take your picture and everything, anyways.
Oh man! But I came out of the base. I'm probably wanted.
Then why are you going? Let us do it. You don't have to go.
I'll stay here as the control group for Lyle, just in case he's controlled.
Yeah, Dot and I are both neither of us has gotten in a lot of trouble, and so I think radio us if you need help. All right.
Pat, let's go by City Hall first because we can get that information, and I can get more information for the injunction. I mean, they're going to know me at the gatehouse, but the bright side of things is they're going to know me.
Yes. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Cool. So while Lyle is watching Enter the Dragon through a mirror, and Joss is continuing to man the store, we'll follow Dot and Pat to City Hall.
I didn't know Jet Li was left-handed.
So Dot, who is it you know at City Hall?
Jocelyn Scopes.
Jocelyn Scopes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the NPC tab when we're on break or something. And she's a little bit older. She's probably in her early to mid 40s, but considering that we're all in our 20s, that might as well be 60 to us. But she's friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And I stop by a bakery and pick up a couple of muffins for her. Say to Pat, remember, it never hurts to bring some sort of courtesy thing to a public official. Just has to be something that they can take, like a muffin or a roll or a brownie or something like that. Can't be money, can't be. This is just like a courtesy.
And Pat nods, like that like he understands that sort of thing. It goes on in academia as well. He's like, good. This is the right way to go. I was worried Joss was going to freak out if he went to the base.
I think that the farther we keep Joss from the base, the better. I don't want him having any kind of trauma or flashback or something happened to him there, or at least he thinks it did. And either way, that's enough to have a real bad reaction there.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I don't want him to be upset, and I don't want him to mess with the mission because he's freaking out.
I don't want our friend to get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, with the stuff we do, it happens from time to time, but Joss is unusual, but he's always been really kind to me. And, he protects me in the ways that he knows, and I try to protect him in the ways that I know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a good friend. He's a weird dude, but he's a good friend.
He's just different, I mean, Pat, there are those who would say you're weird too. I mean, you did basically join the fencing team. Started it, if I recall.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So, please, unusual.
Okay, unusual.
Or discerning.
Discerning.
Yeah, like you have tastes that are refined.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. His taste in movies is... Pat, have you ever seen Hard Boiled? Like just the first 20 minutes, the scene in the Chinese restaurant?
No.
Okay, when we're done here and looking on the base, I'm going to show you the most incredible 20 minutes of cinema that you will ever see in your life.
Okay.
I'll point out that it's probably going to be wildly unrealistic, so just turn your brain off and appreciate it instead of trying to analyze how they're doing what they're doing.
Okay. I can probably do that.
Good. I think you'll enjoy it.
Pat looks dubious as we walk up the steps into City Hall.
Yeah. So you find Jocelyn, and I think she's like the main record keeper / secretary / whatever. She does most of the work at City Hall. That's not like the political positions. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I can say, Jocelyn, I brought you. I'll look in the bag and I'll say, blueberry white chocolate, and it looks like pumpkin cream cheese muffins
Ooh,
today.
fancy! And she takes the bag and kind of smells them. Oh, these are. I didn't know they made white chocolate and well, what can I do for you?
Well, yeah, it's this, that thing that I'm working on with the military to save the forest around here because, we need the tourism. I need a couple of papers pulled, and I don't really have time to go through all the procedures. I was hoping you could help me out.
Well, depends, but I'll see what I can do.
And I feel like this is when I should roll to investigate a mystery.
Yeah, that works.
All right. And I'm rolling plus sharp, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And my sharp is 2.
Yep.
That's just a 7, but I got there.
Yeah. Gets you one question.
All right. So we know that Gary. What's the question we want to get answered here?
Yeah, you know that Gary gave an address that's on the base.
Yeah.
Did anything significant happen here? I guess that would be the one that jumps out to me from town records, right? What happened here? Like, as in, what do the records show about?
So, I'd like to pull the file on the property, see like land deed transfers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. This before the military or the Air Force set up the base there, it was just farmland, not like rich farmland, but there was a couple of farms there, but that was like decades ago. They bought up the land. They've kept at least some of the names of the roads because they were already there, and they used them for the housing area.
Okay.
There's no record of anyone named Gary Johnson living on any of these farms. So presumably, if he actually lives at that address, then it's after the base was established. I don't think the town would have records of the people living on the base. That's probably on the base. They would have records if someone who was like a, I don't know what you call it, a citizen of the town, someone who lived in the town, worked on the base, that sort of thing, then they could have it. But the part that's on the base, the people who live there, that's the Air Force records.
How far back do those records go?
At City Hall, or?
Yeah, I wanted. How far back do they have records for this area of land, for this plot?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think. Ooh, and here's where I get into me not knowing enough about U.S. record keeping. I think we said that the town was established like early mid 19th century. Does that sound right?
About then.
And I don't think that they weren't particularly interested in record keeping at that time. But I think the records will go back at least to like late 19th century. There's probably been a fire at some point that
Right.
Destroyed some of the records, but yeah, at least since at least let's say they go back about 100 years, and during that time there's no record of anyone called Gary Johnson living on at that.
Is there a record of anyone
road.
named Johnson living on any of that land?
No, there were different families with different names. There could be, like, if there was, it's not impossible that someone lived there who was like, what do you call it? Like a farmhand or something, who was like temporary work, but there was no one who was registered at the address.
When did the Burton convoy happen? That was in the early 1800s or late 1700s?
Early 1800s, I think, would make sense.
Was that anywhere near this plot of land?
I think the convoy would have passed that area. The way I've imagined it is that the place where they stopped and things turned really bad is basically where the town is now. And there were probably some people who would.
It's specifically where the prison is now.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think there was like some people stayed where the town is. Some people crossed the lake. That was the frozen lake, and they tried to get out of this bad situation by crossing the lake.
There was more than one bad thing that happened during all of that. I think is safe to say, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a series of incidents.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, do you think that Dot knows about the Bertone family and their role in the community or their history?
Are you in character asking me character to character, or
out of character?
Yeah, got it. Yeah. I mean, I think my hunch is that there are probably a lot of rumors about what the Bertones might know or not know, and who has ideas about what's going on and stuff like that. I mean, they've been in town as long as there's been a town. Some like there have been members of the Bertone family. So, I mean, I think she would. I mean, what do you like? Like, what do you? I guess the better question as a player is, what do you want to do with that information?
So, what I'd like to do is say, Jocelyn, can I be a dear and borrow this file just until tomorrow? I'll bring it back.
Sorry, what? I didn't quite catch that.
Jocelyn, could you be a dear and let me borrow this file? I'll bring it right back tomorrow, first thing.
Oh, I can make copies for you.
That would be. You'd be a lifesaver.
We have this new copy machine. I'm so glad just to get an excuse to use it. So she makes copies of the records for the property, and I think that's. Or was there anything else you wanted from that?
No, just the records. And once we get into the car, I will hand them to Pat and say, Pat, your family's been around a long time here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you or maybe your mom or your dad might know anything more about this parcel of land here?
I mean, we can stop by the college and find out.
All right. So I think our next stop is probably the college, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think we should take. We're about the hour. We should take a break. So let's come back at 5 past.
Okay.
Yep. And we'll go see my dad, who's the history professor.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dot and Pat continue on to see Pat's dad. So do you go to the community college and visit him there, or is this back home?
Yeah. We just I'm just going to drop in on him during his office hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know when he's busy and not. So yeah, you can find him there. Ah, Pat, good to see you. And Dot, you as well.
Hi, Mr.
Hey.
Breton.
Hey, Dad, we've got and I kind of go in and I like, I kind of do that thing where I look down the hall in the other direction, and then like shut the door to the office, and I say, we're working on like one of those things that happens in town that we think we're on to something.
Is it serious? And you can see like his demeanor changes. He goes from like, oh, I'm the friendly professor to like, now we're talking business.
Yeah, and I say, I think so. So my friend Joss, and I kind of hold my hands up because I know what he's like about to kind of like, or like the dubious look he gives me or whatever, and I say, there's somebody that comes to the video store that Lyle saw something happen to. I know, like Mom always says, that you shouldn't have a hypothesis until you have data, but there's something strange going on. And we're hoping that maybe you could tell us if there's anything that we need to know about and I give the parcel of land, the address, like the place that we're talking about. And this feels like a time maybe that I can make my sect move here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This feels like a good kind of like a fictional introduction sort of justification for it. So when I'm in good standing with the sect, which we have no reason to believe I'm not right now, at the beginning of each mystery roll plus charm, on a 10 plus, they provide some useful info or help in the field. On a 7 to 9, I get a mission associated with the mystery. And if I do it, I'll get some info or help too. On a miss, they'll ask me to do something bad. If I fail a mission or refuse an order, I'll be in trouble with them until I atone. So I've kind of like laid this out, and now this is the moment of like, what's he gonna say, right? And so I'll make the roll to see, how good a job I did laying that out. I'm at -1 charm. I'm not great at talking people into things, including my parents, who are and that may be because of me. It may be because they're dubious of my friends. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just going to roll my dice on the table here, if that's okay.
Yeah. It may just be that they are strict about what they want you to do. It's not. Yeah.
100%. So I've got a 6 and 4, which for anybody else would be a 10 or better, but for me, that is merely a 9 because I subtract 1 from it. So that's going to put me in 7 to 9. I'm going to get a mission.
Will that do anything?
What's that?
If I assist, will that do anything?
I don't know. Depends on what you roll.
I roll plus cool, and I can only apparently get you +1.
Yeah, which would get me to 10. That'd do the trick if you can do it. What does that look like?
I think that I'm leaning in and like lending seriousness to what you're saying, because we know Jaws, but I'm hoping that maybe my steadying presence there as somebody who actually does things by the book, because I have to in law, helps make your case seem more valid. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, I think my parents are real fans of Dorothy and Pat, in a way that Pat may be a little oblivious to. Does that work for you?
Surprise me after the time that we spent recuperating together, and I was making you laugh and you kept saying, "Stop, it hurts."
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I am rolling 2d6 plus cool. What the heck is my cool? My cool is -1. So
okay. Let's see. That's clumsily making the pitch to my dad.
Nope. That's a miss. It would have been a hit if I had even one more dot in cool. Although,
all right.
No, I've already taken an advancement. I don't think. Actually, I have an advance banked.
And you can always use luck too.
So, Andish, do you mind if I take my banked advance and add 1 to my cool?
No, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, so that gets it to a 7.
Mm-hmm. Which means +1 to the roll, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger.
Well, I'm already exposed. I mean, I went to the city hall for the records, so.
Yeah, I think this will be something on top of that. But let's look at the sect move. Yeah, so on that gets you to a 10 plus.
Yep.
They provide some useful info or help in the field. I think, yeah, and this isn't that useful info. I think that will be something where I'll hold on to that for a little bit until I can think of what would be particularly useful there.
I mean, particularly useful would be if it turns out he's got clearance at the base or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That could be help in the field. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think it talks a bit about like, oh yeah, it was this family had the farm and they sold it to that family and all of that. All of this confirms what Dot has found in the records, and he has information that goes back a bit further because he has like he has a keen interest in the history of the town. So he has talked to some elderly people who have and he's taken some notes.
I feel like he's one of those people, and we all know these people who, like, when they get on a roll, like they're like the information just starts pouring out of them. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's actually going to the base for to do some interviews about. He's interviewing some people who are living on the base about for some project that he's working on.
Sure. Yeah.
I can take you with me if you want to just look around and see get the lay of the land, get a feel for what's going on there, and of course, if this has something to do with what you're working on, then maybe you can do some additional snooping around. I won't mind.
That'd be great. Thanks, Dad. And I look at Dot like, kind of like that okay?
I would love to do some snooping around there simply because I don't like the Air Force trying to tear down all the forest around here. I mean, that's going to harm our tourism.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the school there, but yeah. Do you think that's connected to what you're looking for here?
Mr. Bruton, if you know enough about this area to know that everything is connected, even the stuff that doesn't seem like it should be, even the stuff we really hope isn't connected, it's all connected.
The holistic view. Yes. Well, I can. We can pick you up tomorrow, and we'll go there first thing.
Great.
I'll look at Pat and say, "You hungry?"
I mean, yeah.
Well, let's go get some food.
Okay. And I say, I get a discount at the cafeteria.
I meant food, Pat. And I look at you with aspiration.
I think your dad is going to like pull you aside and hand you like I don't know what would be like a 20 or something, and say, "You go get a nice meal. You deserve it."
And I look a little disappointed, and I say, "It's taco day," but okay. And I kind of reluctantly take the $20 bill. And you know, and I kind of like, you know, and I walk out into the hall where Dot is, and I say to her, he says we should go somewhere nice.
And like looking over your shoulder with the eye that you can't see, I wink at your dad and say, yeah, you know what? Let's go to that place that just opened. That sit-down place. You know, I think they do like some sort of Chinese fusion or something like that, where I think, if I remember right, they actually try to do Chinese-Mexican fusion, so you could get like tacos, but they'd have Chinese food with them or in them.
That's interesting. Sure. Why not?
And Elijah gives Dot a little thumbs up, like when Pat isn't looking. And yeah, I'll pick you up again tomorrow.
Thanks, Mr. Bertone. We'll see you then.
Yeah, so I think we'll cut back to Joss and Lyle at the video store. So, Lyle, you watched all of Enter the Dragon through a mirror. Doesn't seem to be anything strange about the tape. You haven't, as far as you know, you haven't been mind controlled. You're still here. No flash of light or anything.
I mean, it's just a kick-ass action movie, Joss, you know, like just a masterpiece of modern cinema. It's taking your words away. It's so good.
Indeed, that it is. It is probably one of the greatest martial art films ever done.
You know, like watching it in the mirror kind of made it like it was a whole new movie.
Indeed, right seems left and left seems right.
I guess and I'm holding the box and I'm like, I don't know what the significance of this is, right? Like, and I flip over the case, like 1973. I wonder if that's got any significance. You know, like there must be something about Enter the Dragon, right? Gary's never seen Enter the Dragon. It came out in 1973. Like, I don't know.
It would be very odd, and that he keeps renting it week after week. It's as if he never gets to watch it. And then he repeats himself. And then he repeats himself.
Yeah, what happened maybe he wanted to see it at the movies and he never got the chance. And he's like, you know, you watch Quantum Leap, right? Maybe it's like that. Maybe he's trying to set right what went wrong. We're about entering a period where I have seen the TV shows that were on at this time. So
Joss, you would say that Gary looks a bit too young to have gone to the movies in 1973 to watch Enter the Dragon. He looks to be like early 30s, maybe.
Yeah, so he would have been way too young. No, I think he's a child of the video era, Lyle.
Yeah, he's a guy who disappears into thin air when he walks through a trailer door, right? Like he's a guy who does time loops as he rents a VHS tape. For all we know, he disappeared from town in 1973. And he's always been trying to make that one leap home so he can see Bruce Lee kick some ass.
Could be. I mean, I can check with some of my friends in the base investigation group, or we could check with the sheriff whether he's got any kind of record.
I have no idea, man. I mean, I'm just grasping at straws here. Maybe the other guys. I thought maybe that, you know, there'd be some sort of maybe he'd appear in Enter the Dragon as an extra or something. You know, like I don't know, but I don't know the significance beyond waiting for him to come back here and pick it up, and you know,
that's probably our best bet. See if he turns up and re-rents it, and then we need to see if he really has rented it or if it's still in the slot.
Well, I'd say like we could give him a different tape.
Put something else in its place.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Maybe like a tape recorder. I don't know how big tape recorders have been in the 90s.
Oh, dictation. But yeah, I mean, it run out of batteries.
You could definitely like a cassette deck, or you could have definitely a handheld. I think like the microcassettes were around at that point.
Yeah. I mean, in the 90s, I had that little thing that Macaulay Culkin has in Home Alone 2. So, I know that's like 7 years later, but whatever. We'll do lots of different. Yeah, we're gonna like Dot says in the chat, different tape, different box, lots of different. We come up with all of these. Like we got a whiteboard and we're coming up with different scenarios of like different things to test out.
The only practical problem there is that he has shown up more and more frequently, but it's still been just once a week for the past couple of months or so. So if you're going to test this, it's going to take time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. Currently, we have no leads. Like no actionable leads beyond go to the military base and poke around where his address is. And I think we discussed that the other two were going to go do that, right? So we are short of. You know what? While we're coming up with these plans, currently our plan is like we just wait for the next time Gary comes back and we do some sort of test with the tape and with him, and like maybe even just confront him before he can go through a door. But that'll all have to wait until Gary comes back. We don't know when that will be.
Next week.
Next week. Yeah, is pretty. Although he's becoming more frequently, hasn't he? So like, maybe it'll be, we don't know. Something has changed over time. But
you have you're going through various theories and ideas on how to test them and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Lyle will ring up his cousin Jake, who's a bit older, and he will just say, "Hey, yo, Jake, you never heard of a guy called Gary? Like, seen him around town? Anything like that?"
Gary? Yeah, sure. There was a guy called Gary. He used to come around Reds. I think he was in the Air Force. Pilot or something. Like real hotshot guy.
Okay. Shit. That's really useful, man. So Reds. Red might know something about it, right? Like, do you remember when you last heard of him?
This was, I don't know, not too long ago. Like 5 years ago was the last time I saw him, I think.
Okay, so like back when we were in school. Okay, cool, man. Thanks, and don't worry, I'll get you. That stuff. It's all good. It's all safe. No worries.
Good.
Yeah, you guys gonna pick it up though anytime soon?
Yeah, I can swing by. I'll tell you next time I see you.
Okay, usual place. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. See you later, Jake. Hang up. Reds. Do you fancy? I mean, not do you fancy? Like, I think all of this kung fu action, all of this thinking that we've done, I think we need burgers, Josh.
I think you're 100% right. And some apple pie.
Keys. Car. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think now we're like intercutting between these two meals with Joss and Lyle having burgers and apple pie at Red's, while Dot and Pat are trying the new fusion place, the fancy but the hip new restaurant downtown. So Dot and Pat, do you think are you is this like you're just having a friendly conversation. Is there any flirting going on? Oh, sorry, did Jim need to leave or something? Yeah, okay. Let's wait for we'll stay with Lyle and Joss for now. So yeah, burgers at Red's. We haven't seen Red on screen, and I don't think we have a portrait for.
No, we don't. That's fine. Quickly, I think that Red is. I mean, he's got to be relatively old, right?
Mhm.
It's like diner is a sort of like an establishment here in town, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe like an older black dude, you know, like to break up the waspiness of Pine Lake.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, and I think he's been running Reds for like 4 decades. He's in his 60s. He's established. I think he's quite well respected in town, and he's been here forever. Everyone goes to Reds at some point.
And you know, as we finish up our burgers on the side, still eating some cold chips and like the apple pie.
Fries, my friend, fries.
Fries, yeah, fries, of course, French fries. I'll put some dollars down on some cash down, and then I'll call out to Red, who's probably well, he's a manager, right? Like he's no longer the only cook and whatever, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think he is the manager, but he's very hands-on. He's not the short order cook anymore, but I think he at least sometimes like mans the register.
Yeah, he's a good restaurant diner style manager who basically will do every job that needs an extra person on, rather than sit around and go do faster kind of stuff, right?
Absolutely. He does whatever needs doing, and he knows how to do every job in the place.
Hey Red, man, like buy you a coffee, buy you a slice of pie. I hear it's real good.
Oh yeah, got it fresh.
Yeah. You should give me the recipe sometime. Could make a lot of money out of that.
It's making quite a lot of money right here. So.
Yeah, tell me about it. Hey man, have you ever heard of a guy called Gary? He used to be in the Air Force.
Oh yeah, he used to come around here every few weeks. A few years back though.
You haven't seen him around town?
Not lately, no.
Because like we have. He keeps coming to the video store and he keeps hiring Enter the Dragon. You should see Enter the Dragon, by the way. Kick-ass movie.
You know me. I prefer the old musicals. That's my style.
It's got pretty good music, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
it doesn't
know. Maybe I'll give it a look.
But yeah, so like, it's really weird though because he keeps renting the same tape, and then he comes back and he doesn't remember it. And everyone we speak to, no one's seen him since like the 80s, and I think he might be like a time traveler.
Well, that's certainly a theory.
Yeah, but you know, strange things happen in Pine Lake, right? And Air Force Captain seems to have disappeared, and now he's showing up and renting out videos for who knows why.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, and he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder. If you could travel through time, why here? Why now?
Because this is in this time and place, Red. And I lean over and I help myself to another slice of the apple pie. It's the best goddamn apple pie in all of America.
Well, then I should have seen him in here, right?
Yeah, but maybe he prefers kung fu movies. I don't know, man, but like...
Do you know what job he did in the Air Force?
Yeah.
No, I know he was a pilot. Talked about that all the time.
Do you know anyone else? Was he like... Did he have like a girlfriend or anything? Or...
Wingman?
Yeah.
I don't know. He may have been seeing someone in town. I just saw him here with the guys mostly. I think if he had some sweetheart, he didn't bring her here, which shows that he had really bad taste in either women or food. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we know about Gary so far is that was an Air Force captain, that he liked food at Reds. No one's seen him in a few years. He can teleport through doors, and he's never seen Enter the Dragon. I mean, it's not really jumping out at me as anything from the movies, man. You know, like, it doesn't seem like a Dracula or a Frankenstein or an alien, or I guess it could be an alien, right? Like,
sounds more reasonable than the other things you were thinking about.
I guess, yeah. Shit, Groundhog Day has not come out yet. Can't refer to Groundhog Day. But like, you know, it could be like the Terminator, right? Like, he could have been sent back in time. Like, the military could have been experimenting with time travel, and he's been like sent back or forwards, or who knows, right?
And
Right,
his
Joe?
mission is to make sure no one else can rent Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody else should watch it. Turning to Lyle.
I guess, but he's kind of doing a bad job as I hold the tape in my hands. Okay. Hell, man. I mean, like, do you remember anything else about Gary? Like, he didn't have any friends. He came here. He ate. He was a captain. I don't know, man. Like, what did he order? Did he have an order?
I don't.
Okay.
He
wasn't like vegetarian or something weird like that, right? Okay.
Nah, man. He was all American. He was burgers and a couple of beers. But he was usually here with his Air Force buddies. They would we'd go here, then they would go to a bar or to movies or whatever they would do.
Okay. Okay. Well, now we know Gary existed here, I guess. And I guess the Air Force is the only guy, but they're not going to tell us, are they?
You don't know what to ask, but if they did something to him to turn him into a time-traveling Terminator with a deep interest in 1970s kung fu movies, then no, I don't think they'll tell you.
Maybe he needs help, man. You know, like, I think he's stuck.
Again, we'll have to wait till he shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll have pie for him when he shows up.
Indeed, a munger.
3 slices to go, Red.
Coming right up. yeah, I think that's when we cut over to Dot and Pat. The new hot restaurant, or at least trying to be at least hot for like a small town in the US in 1990, Wyoming. So yeah, is this do you keep talking about this investigation? Do you talk about other stuff? Is it friendly? Does it get awkward? What do you think?
I mean, what I think is that Pat is not much of a small talker, right? And since we've got a mission, he's going to be kind of talking about that. And if Dot wants to be social, she's going to have to kind of drag it back to being social, on the regular, I think.
I mean, what I can tell you is that anytime you start trying to talk about the case, I'm going to say, Pat, how many times have I told you that sometimes you need to let your brain work on things in the background while you do something else?
And I would sigh and go, okay.
Like, this is why people have such great ideas in the shower, because they're not thinking about anything else. Maybe they're singing or doing whatever, but they're not thinking about anything besides warm water. They're not thinking about work or something they're trying to invent or whatever.
I mean, I think about getting clean.
Right? But you're not thinking about, for example, what's going on at the mental health facility. You're not thinking about what happened 300 years ago.
Well, I mean, unless it's part of the mission.
Well, you just said you were thinking about getting clean.
Well, yeah. I mean, usually a lot of times, like, I've gotten something on me that we want to make sure it doesn't, grow or
Right.
get worse. So
Gotcha. But don't you also have good ideas or breakthrough ideas when you're in the shower?
I mean, not really. Mostly just hang out with you guys and we find stuff. And then every now and then my parents will point me at something and I'll do that.
I will kind of like gently put my forehead in one hand and kind of massage my forehead with my thumb and index finger and middle finger and say, Pat, do you ever just take time off? Do something that's not related to any of this stuff?
I mean, no, because the stuff doesn't take time off. I mean, like, history doesn't stop just because you don't want to be part of it. That's what my dad says. And my mom says that, the universe is in constant motion always. And there's no, even when you think you're resting, you're really moving at like, some fraction of the speed of light. And like he says this very intensely, like this is a thing that's been drilled into him.
All of that is empirically true. That is provable. You are, in fact, always moving. The planet is always moving. Time is always proceeding. But wasn't it Einstein who said that time is just a stubbornly persistent illusion?
I don't know. I guess maybe.
Because
that sounds like something Einstein would say.
Yes, your parents are right. Things are always moving. But if we're always moving with them, how can we take stock of where we are? Sometimes you need to sit in one place and be still. And that can give you the energy to move forward, or the time to identify the right action, or just give yourself a break.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. I know how to make a plan and how to, make sure that I'm ready to do stuff. But we don't like we don't know what's gonna happen. And I kind of got to be ready for anything, which means I got to be ready for anything to happen, right? Because it could happen anytime.
Pat, no one knows what's going to happen.
Well, I know, but most people don't worry about the fact that they don't know what's going to happen. I have to be ready to try and figure it out as soon as I can once it happens.
And that's true. That is absolutely true. But don't your parents ever take a day off, go on vacation? Don't they ever laugh?
I mean, they laugh, but it's usually like some kind of, I don't know, like joke about how, Latin doesn't work the same way that English does, or, my mom will make math jokes, and I don't really get those.
Okay, let me put it another way. Pat, do you think your parents want you to be happy?
And like I stare at you like I don't understand the question.
Like, do you think your parents wanted a life for you, or want a life for you that is nothing but hunting and researching and training and preparing and
I mean, that's all important stuff.
it is.
Why wouldn't I want that? Because that's, I mean, we're the only thing that stands between Pine Lake and
Utter destruction, total annihilation, that which lies beyond. That sort of
see,
stuff.
you get it.
I do. But, Pat, don't your parents ever take time off?
I mean, they
Do they
go
ever do
on.
anything? Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, they go on research trips and stuff.
Okay. Do you think they do anything on those research trips that maybe isn't quite as researchy?
I mean, I guess.
Like, if they, let's say they went to Milan for research. Do you think they'd take a few minutes to go see the Last Supper?
I mean, probably it's a work of significant historical and, I mean, but metaphysical and occult interest.
I mean, less occult interest, more artistic and cultural, but that's not something that would necessarily strictly be related to work, right?
Well, no, I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, I watch I get 2 hours of TV a week, so I
A
mean,
week.
well, yeah. I mean, I got to be training.
Is that what they allow you, or what you allow yourself?
Well, I mean, there isn't really that much difference.
Okay, let me put it another way. Have your parents ever said you may only watch 2 hours of television per week?
Well, I mean, like, not like that, but, like we've got a schedule.
Okay. Pat, how many times have you watched In Search of?
I've watched it a bunch. I've watched it a bunch with Joss. And there's like these 2 or 3 episodes that he likes to watch over and over and over again. And then he tries to prove to me that there's inconsistencies between them, even though it's the same episode that we watched again.
Okay. What was the last time you watched something on television that had absolutely nothing to do with anything that had been a mystery or something you investigated, or was currently a mystery or something you were investigating, or that you thought might be a mystery or something that you might investigate in the future?
Okay, so I like Snake River Canyon. Sounds like it might have something, that might be mystery related, but really I just wanted to see Evel Knievel try to jump over it. And I say this like it's the guiltiest secret ever. Like, I lower my voice. Evel Knievel. He's got a red, white, and blue motorcycle.
You realize that the promoters of that event were so afraid that Evil wouldn't do the jump that they literally had people with guns escorting him to his rocket plane?
That's so cool.
What, that Evil was basically pushed into it at gunpoint?
But then he did it.
Well, he didn't. He tried, but he didn't do it.
I know. And he broke like 30 bones.
Pat, that's not something.
And he's gonna do it again. I mean, or he says he's gonna do it again. He says he's gonna try it again.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out of here. And Joss was expecting me later to watch some John Woo movies. You are coming with. We're going to make sure that you drink a beer or two, because I know that's something that you absolutely don't do. This is something to help you. We're going to start getting you to have a life, Pat, because what you're doing, your body is a temple, and this is where I'm almost blushing. It is a temple, but there is more to life than training and preparing.
Okay.
If that's all you're doing, if all you're doing is protecting,
beer's like drinking a loaf of bread. You know that, right?
Yes, that's why it's awesome.
And I shrug, and I think we can, and we can cut the scene there. Yes. Like I'm just like Dot kind of, was at I think at me sufficiently that's like, okay, all right, I'll try.
Cool. I think that gives us an excuse to get everyone together, which would be nice. For a little bit, at least. So where would you have this viewing? Was that going to be at the video store as well, or was it somewhere else?
Joss's 28-inch CRT.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Joss, projector, like on a screen, or?
It's impossible to make a screen bigger than 28 inches, Lyle. It's the maximum a CRT can ever be. Do you know nothing about CRTs, my friend?
Only how much they sell for.
It's physics, man. It's physics. You can never have a screen bigger than 28. Limits. It's the limit.
So
let's get close. Darth claims this is one of the greatest films, and I'm in agreement with her. Hard-boiled.
This is why I got it on Laserdisc. The first 20 minutes of this movie will change your life. Pat, just watch it. Don't analyze it or think about what they're doing wrong. Just watch it.
Okay.
Just let it wash over you like water. Okay.
And drink one of these, Labatt's Wildcat. It's phenomenal.
So I think we see the whole gang like from the point of view of the television on a couch all together. Like how would you arrange yourselves there?
I think Lyle's probably sat cross-legged with a beer at the edge of it, smoking, nearest the nearest window, and he's, he'll offer beers to everybody. I don't know if a Wildcat is a beer.
Wildcat is a beer.
Yeah. Okay, well then, yeah, that's what we're. And he'll try to peer pressure Pat into having one.
Like Lyle is closest to the fridge where the beers are and handing them out to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you handing them out or tossing them?
Oh, tossing them.
Yeah. So Joss, where would you be?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of next along from Lyle. Good bit of man spreading. Yeah, you got to get center onto the CRT. You don't want to be too off to the side. You know, people end up with stretchy faces and everything. It's a good movie. You got to be in looking at it square on.
So are you like leaning forward, really focused, or are you leaning back, talking to everyone?
People that talk through movies need shooting. You should never talk through a movie. This is an art form. Somebody's put some effort into this, so it needs to be respected.
Like it's subtitled.
I'm probably the one who shushes you and says, "Trust me."
Yeah, Dot. So are you seated next to Joss or somewhere else?
I think I have probably maneuvered to try to get at as close to the center of the screen as possible, which probably means I'm sitting on the other side of Pat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind sitting between Joss and Pat or whatever, like, because, we're all friends. But I am hoping this is going to be as near to a religious experience as Pat can actually have. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that Pat is appropriately prepared for this. Because Pat prepares for everything else. Pat doesn't know how to prepare for watching a movie of this sort.
Yeah. So, Pat, how do you approach this and how do you think you react?
So I want to do a thing which is I've got a move here called Fortunes. The sect has ancient prophecies or divination techniques to predict the future. Once per mystery, you may use them if you look at what the future holds, roll plus weird. And I think that, you kind of set Pat down and he has agreed that he is going to participate in this activity, which means, Lyle tosses him a beer and, whatever. He pops the top off with a church key he's got on his, keychain. And then just tosses the empty, bottle back to Lyle and goes, and however many you toss him, he's just going to throw him back and is glassy-eyed, staring drunk, like 5 minutes into this. And, you know, and like the movie starts and like, you know, I mumble, like I start to mumble something about, you know, how if that were really a 9mm of that size, we would have seen it in his waistband before he got up from whatever, you know, and Dot, whatever you do to like to shush me. And then I start to watch, and like, you know, we can see that thing where like the motions of the figures are like reflected on my eyes and stuff like that, and my jaw is kind of slowly dropping, and I'm seeing, you know, and in my head, like I've got that thing where it's like the room is kind of spinning, people are moving, the voices sound strange, and all this kind of stuff. And the motions of the figures on screen, you know, I hear Dot saying, don't think about the, you know, like, don't think about the mystery, don't think about the mystery, don't think about the mystery, which of course then means I have to think about the mystery, because it's like, you know, don't think about an elephant, right? Like that kind of thing. And it combines, like, it kind of sort of all in my head sort of melds together with the images on the screen and the noise and the, like, I can't understand what people are saying, but I can and stuff. And so I'm going to use that to make my, role here, because I think that, you know, the divination techniques involve altered states of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, somewhere, you know, unbeknownst to me, you know, my mom is like self-microdosing with ayahuasca or something like that, you know, to, you know, like whatever, like she's going up into the mountains to, you know, get mushrooms and stuff like this. So, so let me roll that and see how we do with that. So I'm going to roll plus weird, which for me is +2. So I've got my dice that I'm going to roll here, and we'll see what happens. What, you know, Chow Yun Fat, speak to me. I've got a 5. My weird is 2, which is going to put me to a 7. So in this case, on a 7 and 9, I hold 1, and I can spend my hold 2. Have a useful object ready, be somewhere I'm needed just in time, take +1 forward or give +1 forward to another hunter, or retroactively warn someone about an attack so that it doesn't happen.
Ooh, nice.
So like I'm watching this, and, you know, and I'm very clearly, like, I very clearly drank too fast, but I'm also, you know, like healthy enough and in good enough shape that like I'm not gonna like puke it up on anybody's head or anything like that. But like clearly I'm like watching it, doing that, and I'm definitely going to get something out of it that I can then, that, you know, is going to like kind of sit there in my subconscious that I can then use later to, you know, spend my hold to get one of those effects. Does that work?
Cool. Yeah. I think we should take our second break now. So let's come back at 5 past. And we're back. Yeah, so I think we'll cut to the next day with Pat and Dot. I think we'll get to, like, you're on the Air Force Base at this point, unless there's something you feel is important on the way there. Otherwise, I think it's just you're there. Pat's dad is going off to do his interviews, and you are basically, I think you can pretty much move around freely here. If you start doing something suspicious or weird, you may get in trouble, but as long as you're just walking around talking to people, you're not going to be bothered.
So a quick question. On a scale from just a standard 32-ounce bottle of Gatorade to going to a diner when it opens and ordering their hangover special, how bad off is Pat this morning?
I think he is remarkably, if not perhaps borderline supernaturally, fine. Like he heals fast, including from this.
I am absolutely stunned.
Like little bit of a headache, maybe.
Yeah.
But not like he does not look like someone who I'm going to say he does not look like, he's not like staggering, stumbling, like, oh my God, whatever, and it also might be. And I think the other thing is that like, it's a little sense of he almost certainly feels worse than he's letting on, but he's being very cagey about letting it on.
So I will just kind of,
he's got very like just like stiff upper lip, kind of like, I'm okay.
I'll look at you kind of surprised and hand you the bottle of Gatorade and say, I brought this for you, but I guess you don't need it.
And I say, no, hydration's always good. And I take it and I think maybe we're kind of turning it into a little bit of a kind of a running joke that like, I don't eat for pleasure. I eat to take in fuel, right? So you hand it to me, I just thank you.
I'll just sigh and say, Pat, one of these days you'll learn that maybe you just carry the bottle with you for a little bit in case you get thirsty a little bit later, or you want to have another, something to drink a little bit later on, and you realize, oh, wait a minute, I already drank all my Gatorade. But all right, let's get on with this.
Yeah, so like it's a military base. They have proper signage and everything, so it's not difficult to find the address that Gary gave.
I am
I'm
curious.
Not sure what. Sorry.
I am curious about something.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should roll to read a bad situation, simply because I've been filing injunctions against the Air Force because of what they're doing to the forest in the area. And I'm sure that has probably like gotten to the gatehouse and maybe even having a military escort. So
let me check the move. I'm not sure this quite rises to the level of that. If you start to draw like unwanted attention, then yeah, maybe. But so far, you're still like probably not the person who's like the main driver behind this, I would assume.
Okay.
And I don't think they would be. It's not like they're on the lookout for that rascally wannabe lawyer who's foiling all our forest destruction plans.
What do you mean wannabe?
I mean, you haven't graduated yet, right? Or had you?
I mean, I think talking about the time skip, maybe.
I think we said you were like 2.
Yeah, 2L.
You had like 1 year left or something.
Yeah, no, like what was our time skip? Our time skip was 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2L.
I like
maybe 1L.
Yeah, like I don't think you wouldn't have because lawyer is like grad school stuff, and LSATs and qualifying for the bar and all that sort of stuff. That's a mid-20s kind of a thing, if you're going at breakneck speed.
Yeah. Right. So law firm intern.
Yeah. Legal aid or something like that. Yeah.
According to my notes, but this is from the first time skip session, so the one that wasn't recorded, we said you were 2 years into law school.
2L. Okay.
But either way, I don't think you're high profile enough that they would be like looking for you to make this like into a situation where you need to worry about it in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not in court or arguing against the JAG or anything like that. So yeah.
But it will count against you if you start to run into issues, definitely.
Good. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what housing looks like on a U.S. military base. Is it like what's
If it's
what would this be?
constructed, it's usually pretty similar in terms of houses. Otherwise, you're talking barracks or apartment buildings for the most part.
I imagined like what do you call it? Like houses, semi-detached. Is that what you call it when they're like?
Sure.
Yeah,
it would look like a very a very carefully planned prefab suburb kind of. Probably. So yeah.
I think that's what we're looking at here, and there's like a garage, and the garage is what's connected to both buildings on each side, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And I think you find the address, and it says Johnson on the, I think it would be like there would be somewhere, I think they would have the name. Yeah. On the mailbox, maybe, or would that just be a number? No, they got the name on the mailbox. We'll say that. But it looks, sorry. Oh, yeah, you find it. It's there. His name, or at least his last name, is on the mailbox.
All right.
Walk up to the door and knock, right?
Yeah. I'll follow your lead.
Yeah. There's no answer. There's no answer.
Do that thing where we walk around the side, try to look in through the windows, walk around the back, press our face against the French doors, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, it's the house is empty. There's nobody living there. There's like 2 cardboard boxes standing in the middle of the living room, and there's some very like nondescript furniture, but it's not like fully furnished. It's like, here's a coffee table, and there's 2 chairs in the kitchen, that sort of thing.
Sure.
I will pull a hairpin out of my hair and say, all right, Pat, one moment. And I'll test the door to see if it's unlocked before I start trying to pick the lock.
I think it actually is unlocked.
Okay, I'll just open it then and say,
yeah.
All right, which box do you want to pick?
And I shrug and just, do my best to estimate, which of them is heavier and take that one.
Yeah, and the air feels like, this place has been closed up for a while. There's no like air conditioner going, and there's no windows open, so it's a bit musty in there. Like it has been that it's been closed up for years.
Does he have a VCR in there? Like Pat's halfway through the box, and then he looks over at where the TV would be.
Actually, let me think. Yeah, there is a TV and a VCR. They're not. Would they be? Yeah, I think they're still.
Do we want to make a roll here, or?
If you want to investigate the mystery, you can definitely do that. If you don't want to pixel bitch it. So.
Yes, yeah. Let's do that. Let's investigate.
Do you want to do the
mystery.
roll, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, from a practical standpoint, investigate a mystery is sharp, which I am not.
Okay. In that case, I will go ahead and do the roll for us.
Since we're both here. Yeah.
That's 10.
Nice. So that gives you 2 hold.
All right. Is there anything you want to ask right away, Pat?
Well, I mean, mostly is has he watched the tape on this? I think, right? That's what we want to. Oh, except there's specific questions because this is read a bad situation, right?
No, it's investigate a mystery.
Or what?
Investigate a mystery.
Investigate a mystery. Investigate a mystery. Yes, yeah.
So there are specific questions. We can fudge them a bit. I don't mind that.
What's being concealed here feels like the most important one, right? What are we missing, right?
Like clearly no one else has moved in here, which and housing here should be like at a premium. If there is new pipe, if someone leaves, someone else is coming in. It's not like they have they can usually afford to keep or have space left over. No one else has been moved in here, so there's probably a reason for that. I'm not sure that is something you can figure out here. Sorry, which question was it? Was it what happened here, or was
what's being concealed?
What's being concealed? Yeah. So it seems like whatever happened to Gary, or is happening to Gary, or is going to happen to Gary, if we go with the time travel theory, they are trying to keep that under wraps in some way. In the boxes, you find it's like personal effects that aren't super personal, if that makes sense. It's like clothes, like civilian clothes. There's no photos. There are no notebooks or anything like that. But it's clearly his personal effects that weren't that are more difficult to connect directly to him. Yeah, so that's that part.
Pat, there's something really strange about this. I mean, didn't Joss and Lyle tell us that Red said that Gary Johnson was in the Air Force about 5 years ago? Yet he still has on-base housing.
And I nod. And like as a player, I would like to let that percolate a little bit and hang on to our second hold. So that, like Dot mentioning Joss, maybe we can cut over to them, and because I'd like to kind of get, like if they can get a little more information, that might help us refine what question we want to ask next. Does that work for you, Puckett?
100%.
Cool. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's remember we have that hold, and then we can come back to
it. So Joss and Lyle, like last night, while Dot and Pat were doing their investigating, you were speculating on various theories, various ways you could test those theories. You talked to Red. Is there anything there you want to follow up on, or any other threads you want to pull at?
Well, The threads we've got are wait for Gary, to repeat this loop again. Otherwise, it would be speak to somebody from the Air Force, try and ask them about, go to this bar where the Air Force guys hang out or something like that. And, Joss probably wearing a fake mustache and glasses or something. Try and find out like what the word on the street is about Gary. Maybe find that guy who's like, Gary, you seen Gary, my friend, what they did to him, that kind of thing. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Actually, Lyle, I think there's someone among the Gerhardts who will like sell contraband to people on the airbase.
Oh, Jake definitely sells contraband to people on the airbase.
Yeah.
Customers.
Yeah. So he would know where you could find them when they're in town. So you definitely have a good sense of where you could go to. I think there are. He knows that there are a few who hang out around the lake and like they're the fitness people. Like they go on runs around the lake or along the shore. They'll swim laps and that sort of thing. Probably not his. Most of them are not his steady customers, but he knows they're there, and there's one or two of them who has other interests.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe some of them like to juice a bit.
Could be. This is before like steroids became really scary. Like this was, or is that late 80s maybe? But there would still be some. Like
Yeah. I'll roll up, park my car along the lake, and watch this group of people running along come up towards us, and. Hey guys, good day for a run, huh?
Yeah, it's brisk.
Yeah. I'm Jake's cousin. You're Eddie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of don't look alike, but
I know I get all my looks from my mom. But hey. I was wondering, man. Like, I've got something for a friend, for a guy who lives on the base, Gary.
Yeah, I think this is where we should go to a roll. And let's see. I think this is manipulate a keeper character, probably.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
I mean, I'll always say it's fair because it's my highest stat. So.
Yeah. Cool. Let's do it then.
Boom, 13.
13.
Yeah. In fact, for you, Eddie, like maybe you want to come over here and you can catch up with those guys.
Yeah, sure. See you back at the base. And they know what's going on, but they're not going to like interfere or
hey, don't ask, don't tell. That's the policy.
Yeah, exactly.
We get into the car. Maybe Joss is sat in the back of the car, conspiracied up, long coat, etc. This is my associate.
Yeah, and he just glances. He doesn't look too closely at Joss, and so you're trying to, because you're you're trying to get him to talk about Gary. I assume that's
Yeah. Yeah, so like Gary's a weird dude, huh?
Oh, and I think I need to think for a bit. Yeah. Yeah, Gary's not been around for years, man. He's I don't know what happened, but last I heard he was doing some sort of test flight.
Huh.
Yeah, they were, I shouldn't be talking about this, but he clearly wants so much to talk about this.
Yeah. And I'll be like, and I'll put like, whatever it is that Jake supplies him with on the dashboard, right?
Yeah.
I'll bring out another thing that Jake supplies, like an extra box of it, like period, whatever, on the dashboard, and I'll say, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we shouldn't talk about in Pine Lake, huh?
Yeah, so they're doing all kinds of weird experimental crap over there.
Just imagining Joss vibrating in the back of the car, like, like excitement,
And Gary, he was doing some test flight of, I don't know if it was a stealth plane or something, but he never came back. I didn't hear about the crash. There was no cleanup crew sent out, so I don't know what happened, but maybe it was really successful and they transferred him, but he was just he went for the test flight and then never came back.
Shit, man. I mean, like, he skipped out of town owing my cousin some money, But I guess if he died in a crash, then no one's getting that back, right?
Yeah, he was living alone, so I don't think you're going to find anyone else to get that money from.
Huh. Well, I mean, weird test flight, like, strangest thing, I hear he was really into martial arts movies.
Yeah, he loved that karate stuff.
Yeah, I bet you guys do, right? Like that military shit. Woocha. Number 5.
Yeah, I prefer Rocky. It's good old American sock to the jaw.
Oh yeah. Number 2 though, nah, not so good.
They can't all be masterpieces.
So you've literally not heard anything from him or about him, or like, I thought all that conspiracy stuff was just for lunatics, man.
I don't know. I mean, if he crashed and I just never found out about it, it doesn't have to be a big conspiracy. It's there's a lot of hush hush stuff in the Air Force.
Yeah, I get that. A lot of hush hush stuff in this car, right? And I slide the package over to him.
Yeah, and he's like just moving them over to his side.
Cool, man. I mean, well, good talk. Gary's, well, I guess I'll tell Jake that he's not getting that money back from Gary. Gary disappeared on an air test flight, and he's never coming back. You guys still do those things? I never see anything take off from the airbase.
Yeah, I think they're. I don't know. They haven't done any. They haven't tested any new planes lately. But I know there's the new stuff is they're setting something up at the school. I don't know what that is, but I think they're preparing something there.
At the school, huh?
Yeah, they were like the top brass. They were really eager to move in there after that fire. I don't know why, but
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I mean, who would have done such a thing?
Yeah, like you never wanted to burn the school down.
I never wanted to burn the school down. I never wanted to burn the school down. Cool, Eddie. I'm gonna give you a lift. Like I can cut those guys off, and you can rejoin the group, or I can, just leave you out here.
I could just no, it's fine. I'll go back with them. I'll just put this this in my bag, and he starts like putting everything down in his like gym bag sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Well, and I like fist bump him, and I say, Jake says usual thing next month too, huh? Probably he passes me like a rolled up, scrunch of $1 from a waist bag, from a bum bag on his waist or something, And yeah, as he leaves the car, I look over at Joss and I say, like, Joss, man, I know you've never heard me say this before, but I think you might have been right about everything. You're muted. In your moment of supremeness, you're muted on your hardware mic, I think. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Shit, man, he's been driven speechless by the revelations.
They don't want us to know what he has to say.
They don't want us to know. They're trying to silence him. Dunno. Yeah, we'll cut away from there, I think. Okay. So now we know more about Gary and that he was involved in some sort of hush-hush experiment thing around the time that he disappeared. No one in the general Air Force population doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah. So while we wait for Paul to reconnect, Pat, do you want to ask your second question, or otherwise? Because otherwise, I think we'll once Paul is back, I think we're getting close to ending the session.
I mean, I think the second question, and I mean, technically it's Dot's question because she's the one that rolled.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Well,
yeah.
Hey,
now
welcome back.
Oh, excellent. I was just gonna. We need to let Dot and Pat know. Check. So over this CB, is there anything in the house that's older than 5 years? Anything new?
Yeah.
Let me see.
And I think we can assume like you can use your radios, or someone makes a call to someone to check in.
Yeah, I think the radios are fine, because if they do want to overhear, that would be coolish.
Well, let's talk about this as a group, because I'm kind of looking at it and thinking what happened here might be the question that we ask to get us there. But I also, that somebody else may have a better idea. I'm absolutely open to that.
Where did they go?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as where also includes the question when. Because, they may have traveled in time, but not space, or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say maybe where did they go would be the better question in terms of what I think we need in terms of our investigation is a space, a place, another nexus of clues. Like at the moment, all of our information is Gary the man, Gary disappeared, Gary used to live here. We know very little about how any of that took place beyond experiment, right? So we need something that points us towards either the experiment, the crash site, something like that, right? Like we need an actionable lead, right? Because currently our only other actionable lead is wait for Gary to show up again.
I mean, I think we need where did it go, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have plenty of time to search Gary's house. I think I will get to the answer to the question. I think before that, you notice like all his stuff in the bathroom is still there. That hasn't been packed up. That's like his toothbrush is still there and that sort of thing. But it seems like everything that's papers or that sort of thing, that seems to have been cleared out if there ever was anything there.
So nothing like even a power bill or a phone bill?
No, that sort of thing is probably there. I'm not sure how that would work on a military base, how much you would be billed for that sort of thing. But
a telephone, you would definitely be billed to the residents on ex-military. Yeah, you might be able to get power and water under sort of some collective, just out of your wages. But telephone is a very personal thing. In the 80s, people can ring up huge bills, so that would definitely be billed to a resident.
I mean, I guess the real answer is whatever you say, right? I mean,
yeah. I think there is like, and the last phone bill is there, and that's from. I think actually there are like a few letters that have been opened and just stacked on like a desk. There's like what seems to be like kind of a home office. Everything, there are no like unopened letters, and there's nothing personal there, but there are like phone bills, that sort of thing. And the last phone bill there is from just after when he was when he disappeared. And I think it's fun if it's an itemized phone bill, and the phone calls stop at the date that like you just know that it's roughly 5 years ago that he disappeared. It matches that time frame.
I'm going to take that because I want those numbers.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And you can see that some of them are like local, just calling other people in the base. I don't think there are any calls into town that you can see, but there are calls to, because you can see like the area codes. I think there are calls to Chicago, like the same number recurring. Probably some could be family, could be someone else there. But what you do find that you probably that's one thing you find that is remarkable. And I think where you would find this is, I think you like shift or you look. There's like the desk, and he has there's like a chest of drawers under the desk, but it's not attached to the desk. So you can kind of roll it out, and on top of that, you find like it seems like it has slid down there. You find a written order for him to what seems to be this last this test flight or whatever it was. and it's a note that he is to report to the facility such and such at this and that date, which matches the time frame in general when he would disappear. And there's like all of it's military jargon, and there's clearly like, yeah, this is the code name for whatever he's supposed to be doing. And I think it's project. I had a name for this and I didn't find my notes. It's Project Rainbow. So he was to report for Project Rainbow this and that date, and it's a location that you think is somewhere here on the base.
I will hold that up to Pat and raise an eyebrow and say, Joss, Christmas has come early for you. Wait till you see the present that I'm bringing you.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I think that's where we end the session. Cool. So let's do the XP stuff. Your team has the question, did we learn something new about the supernatural world?
Mm-hmm.
Time travel, possibly?
Yeah, which puts you at 3 XP, which can give you a new improvement. I think we'll do that next session, but for those who want to and have time for it, you can look at the options. Otherwise, we'll do that next session.
Yeah, we can talk about it on the Slack too. Have a conversation about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, like if I hadn't looked at every team playbook and wrote down moves that could be useful for us to take, so I will pitch those.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I will do as well. If it's if I'm playing, but now I don't need to do that. So let's do characters. I'm going to start with Joss this time from the right-hand side of the character keeper.
Indeed.
So you have some questions that you know better than I do, I think. Or is there anything other than the failed rolls? There is something.
There is. I don't know why I always look, because I do actually know off the top of my head. Did we conclude the current mystery? No. Did we save someone from certain death or worse? No. Did we learn something new and important about the world? Yes, we did. Did we learn something new about one of the hunters? Yes, we did. I think we learned stuff about Pat and Dot and their relationship, the sort of thing, how it goes on along his family, that kind of thing. But that only gives us one experience because it's
that's how it works. Yeah. Cool. So everyone gets 1 XP, and there weren't a lot of failed rolls here.
No, which I'm really annoyed about, because I was really hoping to take a move from the playbook again, because I see Lyle moving in towards like the gumshoe area, perhaps. Yeah. Well, we spend time spend it talking to people and ferreting out stuff,
Yeah. Cool. Stars and wishes. I'll give Paul the first chance at this.
Yeah, I really, enjoyed the scenes. Will leaned very nicely into watching something in a mirror. Sorry, add things of Alan Partridge and the jet from Gladiators image there. I very much liked the scenes between you know, Dot and Pat. I thought they were really good scenes, and yeah, you know, maybe a bit of action going forwards. You know, gives a chance of lots of rolls, so you know, chance of failure is nice and high. So yeah, that's good for me.
Cool, thank you, Jim.
Yes, this was fun. Glad to be back into it. Neat to see start all of us for playing our characters differently. Like I felt like there was some, you know, we could see discernible differences between who we used to be when we were in high school and who we are now. You know, some of you know, and all of us kind of becoming, you know, like the ideas of who we were there, but you know, we're becoming more so, you know, what our kind of sort of kind of boiling away the, you know, extraneous stuff to get at the cores of some of those characters in a way that I really dug. That was really interesting. A couple of things I wrote down. It is so much fun. One of the reasons that people should watch the videos of these is to watch Paul's facial expressions when Will is going on. Like, and they're in the same scene, and Will's just like doing his, like, you know, Jim Rockford style patter to somebody, and Paul's going like, you know, like doing that kind of thing, and it's a delight. It makes it's as much fun to watch it as it is to listen to it, and I really like that. So that's a lot of fun. I just wrote that down. Will, the kind of Tarantino noir mode that you're in is a lot of fun. Like there's definitely like it's this thing where we're not all necessarily in the same movie, and but it like in a cool, good way. And you are definitely in like a crime, you know, like a crime novel. You got like a, you know, like a Richard Stark, Elmore Leonard kind of thing going on, you know, while I'm in a Jim Butcher novel or something like that. But it's really fun to do it. And just like, you know, your interactions with the NPCs, Anders, you're putting characters in front of him that, you know, that just bring that out, and those interactions have been really fun to watch. And Puckett, thank you so much for you know, our little dance that we're doing around here, around each other as Pat and Dot. It's super fun, and I love that anybody watching is not sure, including myself, is not sure whether Dot really likes Pat or Pat is just another cause for her. You know what I mean? Like, cause she like clearly she like gets it in her head that's like, this is a thing I'm gonna fix. And you know, and does she really care about him, or does she just kind of wanna, you know, is it gonna be like is he another project? And to see how that you know, one of my wishes is to, you know, I mean, we're not gonna have enough sessions to really see how that develops, but to, you know, kind of look maybe a little bit at the difference between, you know, actually like, you know, like respecting someone's autonomy while trying to help them do better without, like, you know, kind of taking over is going to be an interesting you know, that's going to be the struggle for Dot, I think, to be like, okay, I'm just going to take charge of your life for you now. And like, you know, that's maybe not great either. And so to see that balance play out, I'm really looking forward to it. So, but and Anders, you know, like juggling the four of us knuckleheads and all of our monkey shines, you know, in a second language, I'm always impressed by, and I really love that you're letting it breathe. You know, you're letting us kind of have some scenes where we're just doing stuff that, you know, that doesn't necessarily bring die rolls, but that develops our characters. And I'm really enjoying it. I think you're doing a really good job with it so far. So thank you.
Thank you. And I love those parts. That's when I just get to lean back and enjoy the show the most, which is very fun for me. But I hope I'm trying to give you enough time for those scenes without letting them drag on too much. But yeah, thank you, Puckett.
So Jim just said a lot of what I wanted to say, but I think my favorite part of this session, even though it wasn't necessarily long, was when we all got together to watch the movie and you got to see all these different aspects of how the characters interacted with it. Like Lyle kind of like, wait, this is subtitled? And that felt so true because I took a friend to see Hard Boiled, and that was his reaction as well. I loved like Pat just downing beer after beer after beer as fast as Lyle could toss him over. I absolutely wasn't expecting that. Joss basically saying, shut up and appreciate a great achievement of 20th century art. I mean, that rings true. Like, and I completely agree with Joss on that point, both in and out of character. But it was just a way of, it was how people approach their characters in that moment. Like Lyle sitting by the window to smoke. So, it wasn't as unpleasant as it might be for others. And tossing beers to people. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, also Lyle kind of bribing everybody with bootleg cigarettes was great. I loved that detail. Jim, I loved the back and forth. I have ideas in my head about things, but I'm not going to say them because then that would spoil the surprise. But I don't think that, I think your parents would have sussed out if there was anything not healthy for you. Paul,
says the woman who thinks my relationship with my parents is unhealthy.
Yeah.
I never said that. I never said that.
Sorry, implied.
Implied.
So, but Paul, I love that for once, like people are actually saying openly, Joss may be right. I think Joss is right. That is.
It won't last, but don't worry.
But the thing is, it's so often a trope that the conspiracy theorist doesn't get things right, that I love it when the conspiracy theorist actually does. And Joss isn't even really being smug about it necessarily. Just kind of like, finally,
it is.
Finally, this is going on. Finally, I'm uncovering it. So that's delightful. And I hope, and this is my wish, that we get more of this at some point in the future. There may have to be a time break, like because you're running other games or something like that. But I'd love to see more sessions of this in the future, which is the standard wish, I think, from everybody. More. So.
Yeah, I would be happy to run something else. It would probably not be until next year, but yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely open to it. Will?
I mean, I love Gary the Time Traveling, Time Lost. Who knows? Just the sheer baffling mystery of it all. And I love that we managed to get Red in finally as a character. As you said, like, oh, he used to hang out at Red Steiner. I was like, oh yeah, we should just, as players, we should remember to go to Red Steiner and bring it into the fiction. So I really appreciate that being brought back up again. And Project Rainbow, I'm all for the Air Force and how does it tie in with the the strange mystical forces that are clearly active in this area of America and their power over time and space. And I'm very happy. I know I loved riffing on loads of 80s action movies, and I like using all the pop culture references, because that's obviously the entirety of how I understand this time period is pop culture references. So yeah, it was another fun session with another fun cast of people. I'll echo Paul's wish for some stakes, like drama action type of stuff. Yeah. But I also like that we kind of, came into this on the something weird is happening. Maybe that guy needs help angle, as opposed to something bad is happening and people are dying, which is the default one, right? Like, Gary seems nice. He's got good taste in movies. Maybe one day he'll get to see Enter the Dragon.
So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I knew this would be kind of a soft start to this mystery. We'll see what happens next session. And like I said, I think I kind of hope that we will finish this mystery next session, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
What I'd suggest, if you wanted to, because we spent a lot of time this session trying to find out as much information as possible, right, about Gary and all the stuff, right? But ultimately, no one really had any information about Gary that we didn't. It sort of fleshed out our lack of information more. But up until Project Rainbow, the Air Force, right? Like, it's no one's seen Gary, and it was kind of variations on the same.
Yeah.
Knowledge, right? So, you as players, like, actually the most direct way we had of advancing the plot would have been to say, right, well, we wait a week for Gary to show up and we do stuff then, right? If you give players like, well, there's a week until that, they'll be like, well, what would I be doing in that week, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, there will be things happening now. You have moved along at a fair clip. Like, what you've done here has happened in roughly 24 hours, like in game. So there are things happening around this as well that we will probably see something of next session.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And I will see you.
Can post it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead and post.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good with
Thank
that.
you. Cool.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.